Yo, what is up guys? So today, as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be introducing you guys to my new Lotus Emira. Now, I actually got this car about a month ago, but I haven't made a video on it yet just because I kind of forgot to. And I was just busy doing like the whole break-in period and everything. I actually have done a review on a different Emira, so I kind of already talked about most of the things that I kind of think about the Emira, but I'm just going to kind of discuss like just kind of my experience so far owning the car, how the break-in period was, what I like, and also a couple of things that I don't like about the car. But before we get into it, make sure we like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos. And without further ado, let's get to it. So just to give you a little walkthrough on the car, all the different options it has, and kind of just what my general experience has been so far after going through the break-in period. So obviously you can see we got the yellow paint on here. We got the black wheels, the yellow calipers. This car actually does have the sport suspension. I think the sport suspension is a must-have on the Emira. I mean, what's the point of buying a mid-engine Lotus if you're not going to get the best suspension? But I kind of understand if you don't really track your car that much that you may not care about having that extra stiffness for the handling purposes. I also have the black pack, so you can see black roof up here. You get gloss black in the air vents. The rear bumpers gloss black. You can see the side skirts are gloss black. The mirror caps, but actually, a pretty crazy story that probably none of you guys know about is that this actually wasn't the original car that I ordered. And the original car I ordered, it arrived maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. And the dealership, I'm not going to name their name because I don't want to call them out because I still don't know if it's their fault or not. But basically what happened was the dealership was taking my Emira to get PPF. I hadn't even sat in it or driven it or anything. And one of their employees was driving the car to get PPF. And basically, long story short, they got in an accident and the entire rear end of the car, I will link a picture in this video, but the entire rear end of the car was just destroyed. And, I was really bummed out because I'd waited so long to get the car and like it was a perfect spec, everything I wanted. And, it got wrecked. Now, the thing though, at first, because the car got rear-ended, I didn't really assume it was the dealer's fault. I was like, it's fine. Like, it's not their fault. They were probably at a stoplight or something and someone just hit them. But when I actually heard about the police report had witnesses of the employee who was driving the car, and the witnesses said that the employee was actually racing with a BMW on the street. So, I don't know if that racing led to an accident, but I mean, first of all, like nobody wants someone else to joyride in their car. So I don't really know what the accident, who caused it and what was going on, but yeah, just not really good experience. But luckily, I was able to find a different car that was brand new but sitting on the lot. It was an Orphan, which is this car, and it was basically the same spec as my original car that I had ordered. So basically, like the black wheels, yellow calipers, black interior, sport suspension, everything was the same. The only difference was that on the interior, this one is the full leather, whereas the original one I ordered was the Alcantara. And for me, I would rather get a new car that's not, in an accident and totally messed up, that has the leather interior, versus getting a car that has been in an accident already that had the Alcantara. So not a huge deal. And I actually kind of like the leather. It feels pretty good on the steering wheel. So if you can't get Alcantara and you want it, don't worry. The leather actually is pretty nice in the car. I've done a couple track days and I haven't really noticed or felt that like the leather steering wheel was like too slippery or anything. So I wouldn't really worry about that too much if you have to get the leather. So yeah, like kind of crazy experience. And I was definitely bummed out that I wasn't able to get the car I actually ordered. But obviously that's over now. So I'm not trying to think too much about it. Now, in terms of the reason why I got the Emira, it was really for 2 reasons. Number one, I wanted a real car, not an EV, so I had to get something like this. Number 2, I had the Evora GT before this car, and I really love Lotus, and I just love like the ethos behind the car. I love the passion. I love the way it feels, the drive, the way it sounds, everything like that. And Lotus kind of like kept a lot of the same stuff they had on the Evora, and they put it on the Emira. But really all they changed was that the things that people complained about most about the Evora, they changed on the Emira. So for example, like the Lotus Evora, like it looked really cool and it looked, kind of supercar-y, but they've really modernized just like the way the, general front end and the design of the car and the exterior looks. I mean, it really looks like a supercar. And I'm not saying that just because it's my car. Like I've gotten a lot of random people who come up to me on the street and like they compliment the car, and a lot of people don't even know what it is. They're like, is this a Lamborghini? Is it a Ferrari? Like, what is this car? But everyone really, really loves the look of the car. And I mean, for good reason, it does look pretty good. Just in general though, like I think the looks on the exterior are one of the biggest improvements that Lotus made over the Evora. Now, one of my favorite things about the car is the engine right here. Now this is actually the same engine that was on the Evora, so I kind of knew what I was getting into when I got this car, but honestly, this engine just sounds so good. Like, it's only a V6, but it really, really screams, and it's supercharged and no turbos, and it's just really raw sound. And you know, if you kind of compare like other cars in this price range, like they don't have engines that sound like this. Now Corvette does have the Z06, and his Z06 is a good competitor to this car, but I kind of feel like it's hard to compare them because they're two totally different power levels and like kind of two totally different meanings for the car, even though they're both mid-engined, they're both, you know, sports cars and all that. But I don't know, just the engine in this is by far the best engine in terms of sound and just feel that you can get in a car for this price range. Now, the next thing that I really like about the Emira is the handling. So this car actually gets a double wishbone suspension, and you know, for a lot of people that doesn't really mean much, but for me, I tend to track my cars quite a bit, and having that double wishbone, especially with a pretty lightweight car that I think this only weighs like 3,200 pounds, like it just handles like so good, you know. And even compared to my Supra, which is a very good handling car and it's fairly lightweight and actually has a aftermarket suspension on it, like this even out handles the Supra like bone stock with nothing else on it. And that's kind of another reason why I think having the sport suspension is important. But just the handling on this car, like I don't really think there's many other cars, let alone cars in its price range and kind of segment, that handle as good as this does. Now, one of the best upgrades on the Emira was actually the interior, and the Evora GT that I had before this, the interior just was not very, you know, clean and updated, and it just looked really, really old. With the new Emira, they've really done a good job on the interior. I mean, it actually looks like a car that's made like in this era, and just everything has so much detail. I mean, you can see like the little Lotus logos on the seats. The steering wheel looks really nice. The gearbox looks really clean. They actually even added a little gear shift linkage right there so you can see it. Even just like the digital, you know, clusters and the infotainment screens, everything just looks so good in here. And not even just compared to Lotus standards, but compared to really any car in its class, like the interior is definitely really, really nice. And that's another reason why I wanted the Emira, just because like the way it looks inside and out just looks so much better than anything else in its price range. Now, in terms of the things that I don't like about the car, there's not a lot that I don't like, but there is one thing that kind of annoys me, and that's just the power levels, okay? Now, it's not that 400 horsepower isn't that much, but the problem though is that it is a $100,000 sports car that looks like this, and I feel like it should have a little bit more power. Now, the second thing that really annoys me about the power levels is that it actually has less power than the Evora GT did. That's like if Porsche made the 992 have less power than the 991. And if that was true, everyone would be up in arms about it. But for some reason, Lotus decreased the power and decreased the red line on the Emira, and that just kind of annoys me a lot. Now, the next thing that annoys me about the Emira is actually this gearbox right here, and it's not the gear shift lever, but it's putting the car into reverse. It is probably like 60 to 70% of the time that I try to put the car into reverse, it just gets stuck, and there's no way to fix it other than either letting off the clutch and redoing it again, or going the first, second gear back to neutral, and then lifting this up and then going to reverse. So that wraps it up for us today, guys. It's just a short little video. I'm gonna be making more content with this Emira. Let me know in the comment section what mods you think I should do to the car. I already have a downpipe on it. It sounds really good. I know there's like some exhaust and intakes and stuff, so let me know if you guys wanna see that. I'm also gonna do some track day videos and some other stuff with this car. Hope you guys liked the video. Let me know if you wanna see more of these videos. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.